Zach Wilson's a problem, yeah, but everything else is also a big old problem for the Jets. So going into it, I feel like we all knew, just based on last week, we're like, all right, well, it's the same Zach Wilson, because week 1 beating the Bills, he didn't look the worst, I don't want to say he led us to a win against the Bills. He was competent enough to put us in a position to where we had a chance to beat the Bills.
We did lose you the game.
Right, and we did. Last week against the tough Cowboys defense, we said, oh, it's just a tough Cowboys defense. It's one of the best D-lines we've ever seen. You kind of give him another little pass, even though he throws 3 picks. You're like, oh, it's not really his fault. Going into this week, I understand it's raining. I know, bro. But when you have less than 20 yards passing in the first freaking half, and you're missing dudes that are open, and you're just scrambling out of the pocket, not throwing the ball, he looks like he's... We're talking about Zach Wilson, obviously. Zach Wilson looks like he's scared to make mistakes, to where he's not throwing the ball, and then when he does finally throw the ball, it's at the wrong time, and he is making mistakes. It doesn't make sense to me. The Jets can't get a run game going. The offensive line, yeah, they're bad, but when he does have time, Zach Wilson, he's not throwing the ball. He's just taking way too long in the pocket. They're getting 2 yards a carry. The receivers are dropping the ball. And to just stick on the offense, we're throwing Randall Cobb out there for 44 snaps, and McCall Hardman's getting 2. I'm sorry, you need to speed it up a little bit. You need guys that'll get open.
It's funny you say that. So I want you. I'll ask you guys a question. Who are the 3 players, bottom 3 in the NFL, longest time to throw on average? Bottom 3.
Well, one's Zach, obviously.
Yeah.
Justin Fields.
Yep. Who's the 3rd? Stay in that area in the sense that Young.
Mac Jones.
No.
Daniel
Bryce
Jones.
Young.
Bingo. There it is. Those are the bottom 3.
I
Justin
cheated.
Fields, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, and Bryce Young are the bottom 3.
Surprising, the next 2 guys up are Jalen Hurts and not Deshaun Watson, really surprising, but Jalen Hurts being that low is
Well,
kinda
Jalen Hurts
surprising.
could afford to, because his O-line is so great.
And also Jalen Hurts has struggled this season, if we're
Yeah,
being
that's what I'm
entirely
saying.
honest.
He also has struggled, yeah.
So just looking at the names at the bottom, I mean, there's one outlier, but he's like 8th lowest, and it's Patrick Mahomes. And then boom, there you go. That's the big difference. But he also has an elite offensive line. Zach Wilson takes, on average, 3.21 seconds to throw.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. That's a big, big problem. So
He's just not reading defenses, first of all, quick enough. And when he does finally read a defense, he's either sacked or he's scrambled 20 yards outside the pocket already, trying to throw on the run in the rain. There's nobody open. Either he's running out of bounds, getting sacked, or throwing the ball away. And there's just nothing productive happening. They couldn't get a first down until the mid-second quarter.
So obviously this is a given. If you throw the ball in less than 2.5 seconds, typically they're more effective. But when Zach Wilson makes quick, heady decisions, he's currently throwing it in less than 2.5 seconds. 75%, 24 of 32, 254 yards and 2 touchdowns, 8 yards per attempt.
Mm-hmm.
That is Zach Wilson when he gets rid of the ball in less than 2.5 seconds.
Right.
That is a very good quarterback. So
what I'll say to that is he has the physical talent. Clearly, he has physical talent. And I also think that as bad as Zach Wilson's been, the coaching's worse.
it is bad.
The play calling's worse.
Some of the throws he made were amazing, might I add.
He has physical talent. That's the physical talent. That's why he was drafted number 2 overall. You drafted him off, the raw physical talent. He's not making good decisions, first of all. We know this. It's Zach Wilson.
Use that raw physical talent.
We know
on
this.
me.
You ready for this?
But Nathaniel Hackett's play calling has been bad. There's no receivers open. He's getting no help. There's no separation. Even Garrett Wilson's not open a ton of the time.
He's miserable.
Randall, you got 30-something-year-old Randall Cobb running routes. I'm sorry, he's not going to get open for you. You got C.J. Uzama out there instead of the young guys like Ruckert or even Conklin. It's just there's just so much wrong with this offense. You don't even know where to begin.
Here's the flip side. When he holds the ball for more than 2.5 seconds, Zach Wilson is lowest in the league in completion percentage at 40. That's by 7%. 7%. That's the same difference of first place Tua Tagovailoa and fifth place Brock Purdy. He is bottom of the league, 20 of 50, 213 yards, and 4 picks when he holds onto the ball for more than 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, he needs to get rid of the ball.
Can I ask, is this something that like someone tweeted or something, or you're filtering this on
PFF, I'm filtering this.
How do you do that?
So you just you kind of have to go to premium stats, and then you go by position. Quarterback, you do minimum dropbacks, and you go to the box score report, and I'm in time and pocket currently. That's what I'm at.
Yeah, those stats are pretty cool.
So there's a lot of stats that you can find on PFF. A lot of the stats that you find, I need to find the EPA, like the extra
RBSTM.
So
You filter all that?
Just rbstm.com. That's the website that has all the EPA stuff.
Got it.
So we know about the Jets' offensive struggles. We knew this was going to happen when Zach Wilson came into play. We knew this was going to happen. We all saw it a mile away. Obviously, Zach Wilson's a problem. The offensive line's a problem. The lack in receiver depth is a problem. But you look over at the defense, right? A defense that was supposed to be dominant, that was supposed to control the game, that was supposed to get to the quarterback, get pressure. And they're not doing that.
Well, Mac pieced you guys up in the first quarter and a half or
Right,
so.
a secondary that's supposed to be great in Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed, and they're allowing completions on 3rd and long on the sidelines. And you look around and you're like, dude, how are you letting a simple Juju Smith-Schuster post route beat you every time? And they're not getting sacks. They're not getting pressure. You have John Franklin Myers, Carl Lawson, Jermaine Johnson, Quinnen Williams. No one's getting pressure. And you're just sitting here wondering, why are we wasting first-round picks on these D linemen who aren't getting pressure? They're not even playing. They're not rotating. It's all bad. They just look bad. The problems are running so much deeper than the loss of Aaron Rodgers. You sit here and wonder if Aaron Rodgers was playing, how much better would they even be? Because it doesn't look like they'd be much better at all. Zach Wilson's a problem, yeah, but everything else is also a big old problem for the Jets.
Yeah, to be fair, they'd be significantly better because one thing Aaron Rodgers has always been good at is getting rid of the football. He makes quick decisions. He gets rid of the football. Plus, the Jets' offensive line has really not been bad in general. And it just seems like Aaron Rodgers just makes a massive difference with Nathaniel Hackett because them two are best friends. So it's not just Nathaniel Hackett running the offense like it is right now. It was Aaron Rodgers' offense.
Well, that was designed around him, and the players that they put around him were designed around Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Like I said in our group chat, the Jets brought in Randall Cobb for Aaron Rodgers, and now the Jets just have Randall Cobb. For no reason.
No longer a good football player.
You just have an old guy there for no reason.
And then I can tell you Alan Lazard ain't no fucking 2.
No, for maybe Aaron Rodgers he is, but not for Zach Wilson. You have a big problem, Jets, and you need to figure it out quick, or else this is going to be another lost season, another season where you lose out on the rookie contracts of Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner. You just paid Quinnen Williams. You have this stacked quote-unquote defense, and you have stud pieces in Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson and Mekhi Becton running out of time on offense. Put it together.
At least it feels like you guys
get a quarterback.
Well, that's my big thing with the Jets. I don't really have much takeaways from this game. I just watched it when it was on Red Zone, and it didn't come up on Red Zone that much because neither team was in the Red Zone too much. But I didn't go back and watch this game back. I didn't feel the need to.
You didn't need to.
Yeah,
it was boring.
I didn't want to be bored. I wanted to enjoy myself. So my big thing with the Jets is if I was a fan, I'd be super frustrated with the front office as a whole. I'd be super frustrated. Like you said, you have all these studs on rookie contracts. You have this, what we believe to be elite defense. And I was saying this in the Dynasty chat this morning. Your window to win in the NFL is so small. Things are always changing. Teams are improving. Guys are getting hurt. The window to win in the NFL is so minuscule. 3 to 4 years normally. Even that might be a stretch. Sometimes your window to win is only 1 or 2 years.
Yep.
And the Jets have a window to win. And yes, it sucks. It sucks that Aaron Rodgers got hurt, but That's 3 weeks ago now. Like we gotta move on. And I respect them for saying, let's give Zach Wilson another chance. He was the guy that we were planning to be Aaron Rodgers' successor when he retires. We were going to let Zach Wilson sit behind Aaron Rodgers, learn from him, and then hopefully be ready. But, unprecedented circumstances occurred. Aaron Rodgers is out for the season. You had to throw Zach Wilson out there. Fine, give him one more chance to see what he got. But how do you not bring in another quarterback as soon as Aaron Rodgers goes down? The odds of Zach Wilson performing in these circumstances were slim to none. We've seen a big enough sample size. We've seen 2 years of it already of him being
3
of him being the worst starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you would hope things would change, but the odds of that were just so slim, and it just baffles my mind that there's not another quarterback in that quarterback room. And
Trevor Siemian.
It's not the answer.
right, it's just like, bro, if you wanted to start Zach Wilson after the Rodgers injury, fine, but you had to bring in some type of insurance to, in case Zach Wilson was bad, because then it's like, all right, Zach Wilson sucks. We just signed a guy in week 1 after Aaron Rodgers got hurt. He's been here for 3-4 weeks now. He's learning the playbook. He's ready to go in there. But now if you want to bring in someone else, if you want to bring in a Carson Wentz out of free agency, you want to go trade for a Kirk Cousins, they're going to take an extra 3-4 weeks, whatever it is, to learn the playbook. You don't have time like that, and it just baffles my mind because this team has a legit window to win. And yes, there's always next year, but who's to say Rodgers comes back and it's the same quarterback,
Right.
He's 39 years old and he tore his Achilles. You have a roster that could be one of the best in the NFL. To me, wasting another season of this great roster is a fireable offense to the GM.
I agree.
Joe Douglas has done a great job constructing this roster, but to me, it seems like he's scared to miss on this Zach Wilson pick.
He already did.
So
And it's just like Rob Saleh, yeah, he's saying Zach Wilson is the guy going forward.
he has to say that.
But right, what else is he going to say? Tim Boyle is our guy? He has no other option.
Okay.
It's the front office who's not putting pressure there. You have to bring in someone else.
So here's my thing. Great NFL teams, one thing they do is move quickly. You saw the San Francisco 49ers. They saw they failed with Trey Lance. They look, I know that he didn't get a fair shake. I understand that. But that was a team that knew right then and there, we have a team that's ready to win football games. I don't give a fuck if he's the last pick in the draft. We're going to put him in if he's the better player. You can't be afraid to make these mistakes. The biggest thing for NFL GMs, you're going to make mistakes. Every GM is going to whiff. It happens. How fast can you admit you're wrong? That's the biggest thing with an NFL GM. How quickly can you fix said mistake?
Right, especially when you have a team that's ready to win. You look at the Bears, I give them some leniency, keep throwing Justin Fields out there because, the roster, you're not going to win anything anyway, no matter who's the quarterback there. So, keep throwing Justin Fields out there, whatever. But the Jets, like I've been saying, they have a real window to be a competitive Super Bowl competing team. You have to move on. You have to fix this.
And
I don't know who the answer is.
It just feels like the Jets are making moves with Zach Wilson's feelings in mind.
Yeah.
They're scared to sign a quarterback because Zach Wilson's going to do bad the next week because he's going to feel bad about himself because he's scared to lose it. Bro, he's a grown man in the NFL.
It's a business.
Either bench him, get him out of here, trade him, get another quarterback, or call it a day because you can't worry about what Zach Wilson's feeling on a week-to-week basis, man. He's not doing good enough for you to care about that at this point.
Robert Griffin III, I will say, this is the one difference in the argument. The other side, playing devil's advocate, made the statement that Zach Wilson is their best answer simply because he's the only one that knows the playbook right now.
Sorry, I don't think that's true anymore.
Right,
that was before the Patriots game. That was before that game. And after seeing what happened on Sunday, bro, that is not the truth. You give me any other QB2 in the league, and you plug him in. I'm sorry, you plug in Carson Wentz, and he will give you a better performance than Zach Wilson gave you this past Sunday. 100%. Carson Wentz isn't looking at open receivers and not throwing them the ball. He's not holding the ball for 4 seconds. Carson Wentz isn't doing that. I've seen enough Carson Wentz to know that he's not going to do that. I've seen enough of Zach Wilson to know that he is going to do that.
You see Carson Wentz and Matt Ryan called up the Jets, and they both told him no.
Yeah. Matt Ryan. I saw the Matt Ryan thing. He's not coming out of retirement.
I don't really want Matt Ryan.
No, he called him and Carson Wentz. I saw
Matt
that.
Ryan, no, the Jets called Matt
The
Ryan.
Jets called
and
Matt Ryan.
no.
He said no. They asked him to come out of retirement. He said
He
no.
said he's happy with his place
I
on
don't know-
CBS Sports right now.
yeah,
I don't
he don't want to
know-
suit up again.
I don't know what the answer is.
I didn't see the Wentz.
I'd like to say that it's Kirk Cousins. I'd like to say that in the Vikings struggles and them being 0-3, that it's a perfect situation for the Jets to go out and snag them while they can and make a move quick, because the more weeks go by, you end up being 1-5. You dig yourself a hole to where if you trade for Kirk Cousins, you're basically just giving away picks because it's so hard to come back anyway. Because what, Kirk Cousins is going to come in week 6, learn a whole new playbook, and you're already 1-5? It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's my big issue. Why has there not? If you wanted to start Zach Wilson and see what he got, fine. But why was there not a backup option?
There should have been a move this morning.
Like going into the season, Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback and Zach Wilson was the backup option. The Commanders, for example, Sam Howell was the starter, Jacoby Brissett's the backup option. When Aaron Rodgers goes down, especially having a guy like Zach Wilson who's proven only to be bad in this league, you need to bring in a backup option. It
Right.
makes no sense
Tim
to me
Boyle's
that there's-
QB3 and he's only QB3. Tim Boyle's not a backup quarterback.
Right.
He's less than that. He's a practice squad. He's only on the roster because he played with Aaron Rodgers in the past.
He's a glorified offensive coordinator for you guys. at
Exactly.
this point.
Exactly.
That's on the
really
roster.
He's not
like-
touching the field.
It is like, in my opinion, it is terrible general managering not bringing in another quarterback, because already at this point going into week 4, it might be too late.
Douglas, he's got to be on the phone right now, right? He's got to be.
You got to go for
He's got to
somebody,
be.
bro.
There's no way Saleh is not in that man's office saying, please get me a quarterback because I'm going to lose my job.
Right.
And
And it's just like we're saying that now. He must be on the phone. He must have been on the phone on fucking
The
On
second
9/11,
that
yeah.
Rodgers
after
got
Rodgers
hurt.
got hurt.
The second Rodgers
It just
got
makes
hurt.
no sense to me. It really doesn't. 'Cause this roster has the potential to be great.
So I asked this. If you get Kirk Cousins, where's the ceiling?
It depends when we get him, dude. If we get him today, you could still make the playoffs. You could still maybe pick something up. If you get him in 2-3 weeks, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. And you're just giving whatever pick you're giving Minnesota is for free.
No, I agree. I'm with you on that. So it's an issue, man.
And I think the only guy that could bring you to the playoffs at this point is Kirk Cousins. I'm sorry, if you sign any other guy at this point and you end up being 1-4, 1-5, they're not bringing you to the playoffs. I think if you get Kirk Cousins and he could sling the ball and he can make quick decisions, there's a chance you squeak in with that defense. But anybody else, there's no chance.
That's why it's so fucking frustrating, because you got ahead of the curve. You started out 1-0. You beat the Bills in shocking fashion. Like, you got ahead of the curve. You gave yourself some leniency, and now through 3 weeks, it's all gone. Now you're 1-2. You're in the hole.
Right.
Yep.
You're in the hole.
With
And
easy
even-
matchups not on the way.
Even
by
in the
way.
Patriots game, I know you guys didn't watch the game.
I did.
But there were so many opportunities for the Jets to go beat the Patriots. The Patriots are seriously nothing special at all. The Patriots are so bad. They're so bad.
They handed you the game on a silver
Multiple
platter
times.
twice, bro.
Multiple times, dude. The Patriots said, please beat us right now. and Zach Wilson couldn't get a first down.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, it was.
it has to be frustrating as a fan.
You guys almost
Like,
had that Hail Mary, crazy enough.
Yeah.
And it slipped through. Who else? Randall
it didn't-
Cobb's hands.
It didn't slip through. That was almost impossible to catch that ball. You would have caught that ball, but nobody else would.
I'm just saying the frustration it is to be a fan, to sit through that whole offseason and be so excited for a team, just for, first of all, Aaron Rodgers to get hurt. Yes, it happens. It's devastating. Second, to not make a move. To sit there and watch Zach Wilson be as bad as he is. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Being all in, but also not being all in. What does that mean?
That's
What does that
exactly
mean?
my
Yes.
point. Like, yes, like it's
Yep.
devastating to lose Aaron Rodgers to injury, and yeah, the season's probably chalked up after that. Like, there's no chance after that, but at least try. At least try.
It's so frustrating, dude.
Yeah, I think y'all gotta make a big time move, and very soon, or it's all over for this season, Deanie. And you can
all
look forward
over
to the
now.
next. You could look forward to the next. There's only one silver lining. You're getting your first round pick this year. That's it. The only silver lining. For
I
you.
didn't want it.
Yeah. All right.
If it's a top 10 pick, do you draft a quarterback?
Yes.
You have to, right?
Yes. You cut Zach Wilson and you draft a quarterback, and if Aaron Rodgers comes back, he sits behind Aaron Rodgers for a year.
So
Yes.
me and Lav had the exact same conversation. Do you draft a quarterback if you end up with a top 10 pick? I said no. I said no because there are going to be players available to you that you can draft in the first round that are going to help you potentially win a championship next year with Aaron Rodgers back. You're all in now on Rodgers. This is your window.
Because you know what? Aaron Rodgers, let's say that the Achilles injury, it doesn't pan out. You need another backup plan because
That's
the
Aaron
problem.
Rodgers signed what, a 2-year contract?
He has two. No, he's 3 total, so it's 2 more after the season.
He's done after the contract. You know, like he's done.
I
He's
wasn't
not-
saying that you don't draft one at all. I think he's a developmental guy in the 3rd round. I think there's going to be enough quarterback talent that falls in this draft personally.
But you need to get it right. It needs to be right.
I
If you're
agree.
Joe Douglas and you pray to God you still have a job by then, you need to get it right. That
That third
number
round
one
pick needs to
priority.
There's
hit.
nothing
No,
more
not
important.
the 3rd round. That's the
There's-
priority.
There's nothing more important than getting a quarterback in that draft.
When you do Madden rebuilds and it says team needs, quarterback is number 1. That's the number 1 team need. That's
I don't
what
care
you
if you
draft.
have Aaron Rodgers.
If there's a quarterback on the board that you have a high grade on in the 1st round, you draft him. It doesn't matter.
It's so tough because there's 2 namely offensive tackles that are just elite and would
It
help
sucks.
immensely.
Well, this is what happens when you whiff on Zach Wilson and you keep throwing him out there to where he has zero value anymore, and you pick up a 39-year-old quarterback that tears his Achilles and it leaves you with no quarterback options. That's what happens. You can't take the tackle that you wanted to take because you're stuck because you need to take a quarterback.
It's over.
Might as well just rebuild now.
Yeah.
Just blow it up.